Welcome to my channel. Basketball Association. The electric atmosphere of the Michelob ULTRA Arena in Las Vegas was less a sound and more a physical force, a palpable wave of anticipation and nervous energy that vibrated through the very floorboards. It was October 11, 2025, a date circled on the calendars of every WNBA fan, the culmination of a season of soaring expectations and brutal attrition, all distilled into a single win-or-go-home Game 5 of the semifinals. On one side stood the reigning, two-time champion Las Vegas Aces, a dynasty in its prime, a marvel of modern basketball engineered for ruthless efficiency, led by the indomitable Aya Wilson, the surgical precision of Chelsea Gray, and the explosive power of Kelsey Plum. Their path here had been one of expected dominance, but the Phoenix Mercury, their perennial rivals, had refused to bow, pushing this series to its absolute limit. The Mercury, a team built on the fiery heart of Diana Taurasi, who even at 43, possessed a competitive fury that could ignite a franchise, and the unguardable artistry of Brittney Griner in the post, a fortress of scoring and defense. But this new era Mercury was also powered by the dynamic, lightning-quick scoring of Sophie Cunningham and the playmaking genius of a newly acquired star, making this clash not just a battle for a finals berth, but a war of ideologies. The cool, collected machine of Las Vegas against the volatile, passionate inferno of Phoenix. From the opening tip, which Aya Wilson effortlessly tapped to Chelsea Gray, the game's tenor was established: physical, intense, and unrelenting. The Aces ran their signature sets with a practice calm, the ball pinging from side to side until it found Plum curling off a screen for a silky mid-range jumper that barely rustled the net. The home crowd roared its approval, but Phoenix answered immediately, not with intricate plays, but with sheer force. Brittney Griner established deep position, called for the ball with a raised hand, and without a hint of hesitation, went to work on Wilson, backing her down with two powerful dribbles before spinning into a fadeaway jumper that kissed high off the glass and dropped through. It was a statement. Griner would not be intimidated, not in this building, not with everything on the line. The first quarter became a masterclass in contrasting styles. Chelsea Gray, the point guard, was a study in control, her movements economical, her eyes seeing plays develop seconds before anyone else. She probed the defense, lulling her defender to sleep before snapping a no-look pass to a cutting Jackie Young for a layup. Then, on the next possession, she used a Wilson screen, took one dribble to her left, and rose up for a three-pointer that was all net, her face an emotionless mask. Phoenix's offense, by contrast, ran on chaos and creation. Diana Taurasi, her jersey already damp with sweat, navigated the court with a veteran's cunning, drawing fouls, barking out instructions, and hitting a deeply contested three-pointer from a logo, immediately silencing the crowd and turning to them with a fiery glare that had become her trademark for over 2 decades. The quarter ended with the Aces holding a slim 26-24 lead, but it felt tenuous, as if the Mercury's pressure was a slowly tightening vice. The second quarter began with the benches on the floor, and it was here that the Aces' vaunted depth was supposed to shine. But Phoenix's reserves, fueled by the manic energy of Sophie Cunningham, had other ideas. Cunningham, a player whose intensity could sometimes boil over, was channeling it perfectly, moving without the ball, fighting through screens, and hitting a corner three after a series of offensive rebounds that felt like a gut punch to the Aces. She was a spark plug, her defensive energy infectious, poking balls loose and diving on the floor with a disregard for her body that ignited her team and the small but vocal contingent of Mercury fans. The Aces' offense grew stagnant. Passes were a half-step slow, shots were rushed, and the Mercury, sensing blood in the water, pounced. A steal from Cunningham led to a fast break, finished by a trailing Griner with a thunderous two-handed dunk that sent a shockwave through the arena, tying the game and forcing an Aces timeout. The dynasty was on its heels. Out of the timeout, Aces coach Becky Hammond drew up a play that showcased their championship pedigree. The ball went into Aya Wilson in the high post. She faced up, saw a double team coming, and instead of forcing a shot, she fired a bullet pass to a cutting Alicia Clark in the corner for a three. Swish. The run was stopped, order momentarily restored. But Phoenix just kept coming. their new star point guard, a whirlwind of speed and handles, began to break down the Aces' perimeter defense, getting into the lane at will and either finishing with acrobatic layups or dishing to open shooters. The half ended with a spectacular sequence. With seconds remaining, Chelsea Gray isolated at the top of the key, dribbling the clock down. She drove right, spun back left, and launched a fall-away jumper as the buzzer sounded. The ball hung in the air, a sphere of orange against the bright lights, and dropped through the net. The arena erupted, but the scoreboard told the true story. Aces 52, Mercury 51. It was a classic, a nail-biter of the highest order, and everyone in the building knew the second half would be a war of attrition. The third quarter was where championships are often won, and the Aces came out with the focused fury of a team that remembered its identity. It started on the defensive end. Aya Wilson, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, decided to take over. She switched onto the Mercury's lightning-quick guard on a pick and roll, stayed with her step for step, and rose up to block her driving layup attempt cleanly off the backboard. The Aces recovered the loose ball, and in transition, Kelsey Plum pulled up from 30 feet without a moment's hesitation, draining the three and sending the crowd into a frenzy. It was a 5-point swing in a matter of seconds, a testament to their two-way capability. Wilson was simply magnificent, a titan in the paint. She altered shots, she controlled the glass, and on offense she was unstoppable, hitting turnaround jumpers over Griner, facing up and driving past her, and even stepping out to hit a rare three-pointer, holding her follow-through pose as the arena shook. For a stretch of 5 minutes, the Aces played a perfect brand of basketball, building their lead to 12 points. It felt, for a moment, like the dam was breaking, that the Mercury's resilience was finally cracking under the systemic pressure of the Aces machine. But Diana Taurasi does not believe in dams. With her team reeling, she took the inbounds pass, brought the ball up the court with a determined scowl, and, from nearly 30 feet, with Plum's hand in her face, launched a rocket that ripped through the net. On the next possession, she did it again, this time from even deeper. The Aces' lead was cut to 6 in a breathtaking 12-second span. That was the magic of Taurasi, the nuclear option that could vaporize any deficit. The quarter ended with the Aces maintaining a fragile 78-72 advantage, but the momentum had subtly, irrevocably shifted. The Mercury had survived the Aces' best punch, and they were still standing, carried by the legendary will of their leader. As the fourth quarter commenced, the intensity dial was turned past 10. Every possession was a grind, a chess match played at a sprint. Bodies hit the floor with increasing frequency. The sound of squeaking sneakers and the thud of physical play under the basket were the symphony of this high-stakes drama. With 7 minutes left, disaster nearly